Good evening, everyone. This is the INFOWARS Nightly News. I'm Darren McBreen. It is Friday, August 24th, 2012. And here's a quick look at what's coming up.
Tonight on the INFOWARS Nightly News, Alex Jones speaks with Stuart Rhodes about the Brandon Robb case and what it means for veterans everywhere. Plus, Jakari Jackson explores two new shooting events, one in New York and one in Mexico. Then, Darren McBreen sits down with military veteran Kristen Megan to discuss the growing political dissent among veterans. All that and more tonight on the INFOWARS Nightly News.
And we begin this evening with another tragic shooting where 10 people have been gunned down just outside the Empire State Building in New York City. And apparently the shooting took place after an argument between coworkers, obviously got out of control. And somehow 10 people ended up getting shot, including the shooter, who died, by the way. And some say, you know, the guy was walking around with a sawed-off shotgun. So crazy things going on in New York. And there are even some rumors and reports coming in that say that the police may have shot and injured people who somehow got caught in the crossfire. So innocent people may have been caught in the crossfire and killed by police. Some interesting developments going on there in New York. And for more on this story, we take you now to Jakari Jackson.
Thanks, Darren. This is Jakari Jackson reporting for the INFOWARS Nightly News. Now, as Darren alluded to, we do have a very serious situation that unfolded in New York recently that we are following. Headline: Police kill gunman in shootout outside Empire State Building. Gunman Jeffrey Johnson, age 53, killed one person before he was shot to death outside the busy tourist destination on 34th Street and 5th Avenue in a chaotic scene just after 9 a.m. Continuing, as Johnson attempted to flee the scene, a construction worker across the street alerted two police officers. As Johnson pulled out a .45 caliber pistol, the officers opened fire, killing Johnson. It was unclear if Johnson managed to shoot a round. Now, this is a very important segment of the article. It says it was unclear if Johnson was able to fire a round. We'll continue. 9 others were wounded or grazed in an exchange of gunfire. Now, we see here that it seems to be maybe even some confusion in the article. If you can't have an exchange of gunfire if there's no exchange by two different parties. But we'll continue on because this story is developing. There's a lot of he said, she said, so we actually went to another article to give you the best and most updated information. This article from the Natural Society. Headline: Empire State Building shooting wrongly hyped as a mass shooting by the media. The Empire State Building shooter appears to only have had a single target. The bulk of the wounded suspects seems like it was the result of a chaotic incident of police fire intended for Johnson, with potentially all the injuries reportedly as a result of police fire. Like I said, this is a developing and up-to-date story, and we're trying to give you the best information we can here on the INFOWARS Nightly News. There's even some confusion with New York's own Mayor Bloomberg, and we'll take a look at that now.
The police responded very quickly because they were on the scene, a post where we assign police officers in a normal course of protecting this city. There were a number of shots fired. The perpetrator clearly turned his gun on the police and tried to shoot them. Whether he got off any bullets, we just don't know yet. The cops returned fire, killing him. That's what we know. And that everybody else that was shot was just grazed or is going to survive. There's no reason to think that any of them were that serious. The perpetrator pulled his gun out and tried to shoot at the cops. Whether he got off any bullets or not, to be determined. How many he shot earlier, to be determined. We do know that the cops fired back. The tape clearly shows the guy has the gun out and is trying to kill the police officers.
We do strive to give you the most updated information here on Infowars.com, and please check out new news developments over the weekend as this story develops. Next story. Gunman attacked U.S. diplomatic vehicle in Mexico. Unknown gunmen attacked an American diplomatic vehicle south of Mexico City, injuring 3 Marines. And it's unknown whether these were U.S. or Mexican Marines, so stay tuned to Infowars.com for the latest developments on this story. Gunmen inside what was described as a Mexican federal police vehicle fired upon a U.S. embassy vehicle. Continuing, the U.S. vehicle was attacked on a highway between Mexico City and Cuernavaca near the town of Tres Marias. Mexico's federal police said that its personnel were not involved in the shooting. Like I said, this is a very new, fresh, developing story. So stay tuned to INFOWARS.com as this story develops, and we'll give you the best information we can over the weekend. Back to you, Darren.
Thank you, Jakari. No doubt that, New York Mayor Bloomberg is going to exploit this latest tragedy outside the Empire State Building in New York as an excuse to call for further restrictions on our Second Amendment. I mean, that's just what he does. Meanwhile, an Army combat veteran in Ohio is the latest victim of a police raid where deputies executed a search warrant to seize his firearms. This, of course, for the safety of the defendant and the general public. All righty. And lo and behold, it turns out that this guy is an active veteran. He's part of the Patriot community. He's an active guy that's a part of the Truth movement. So this no doubt played a significant role in why he was being targeted for psychiatric evaluation. But, the guy's a respected member of the community. He's had he's been not diagnosed with any social disorders or anything like that from the VA. The guy's got a Purple Heart, okay? His father is a pastor and a police officer, but because he's a truther and he's on our side, well, they want to discourage veterans from being politically active at all costs. Now, speaking of returning veterans getting hassled by the authorities, throughout this entire week, we've been covering the story of former Marine Brandon Robb as he was abducted from his home last week, and they claimed he has a mental disorder because he's been leaving 9/11 truth comments on Facebook, so that's why he was singled out. But wait, there may have been another reason, and that's because of his opposition to the Federal Reserve. Kurt Nimmo posted an article on INFOWARS.com where you can read what Brandon Robb has to say about the Fed. And I mean, this guy, he is right on target, basically saying that there is nothing federal about the Federal Reserve, that they are a private banking cartel controlled by the globalists. And again, that article is posted right now on INFOWARS.com. Good read. Check out what Brandon Robb has to say about the entire history of the Federal Reserve and what it means to us today. More on Brandon Robb later, but first, another report from Jakari Jackson as he exposes the latest propaganda associated with the hyped up West Nile virus. Let's go to Jakari.
Thanks again, Darren. I just had one more story I'd like to share with our viewers. This one from our friends at naturalnews.com. Headline, West Nile virus. They are lying to you again. West Nile disease. It's a national outbreak. 1,138 cases in 38 states. 41 deaths. Planes are spraying aerosol in cities like Dallas. So I just want you guys to be aware of that as we move through this article. Continuing. Never mind that the U.S. Centers for Disease Control claims that 36,000 people die every year from ordinary seasonal flu. Never mind that the World Health Organization claims between 250,000 and 500,000 people die every year from the ordinary seasonal flu. If you added up the death count from all the hyped and predicted epidemics of the last decade, now this is very important, including West Nile, SARS, bird flu, weaponized smallpox, and swine flu, the total would come to about 1 year of deaths in the U.S. from ordinary seasonal flu. So we see here, if you take all these superbugs, all these epidemics, combine them together and come up with one number, it would be about the same number of people who die every year just in the U.S. from ordinary seasonal flu. So we see that there is nothing to fear but fear itself. There's no need to run out and get yourself vaccinated with these exotic vaccines, even if they didn't contain deadly components like mercury. And we actually do have a graph here of things that are very real and that could actually kill you. We'll take a look at what we have here. We see coming in at number 1, you have a 1 in 1 chance of dying for any reason, natural or unnatural. At the bottom here, we see you have a 1 in 652,000 chance of dying from fireworks. You have a 1 in 700 chance of dying from literally walking down the street. You have about a 1 in 4,000 chance of dying on a bicycle. And close to the bottom, we see you have a 1 in 80,000 chance of dying from coming in contact with hornets, wasps, and bees. which is to say, if we can put mosquitoes also in that category, you have about a 1 in 80,000 chance of dying from West Nile virus. Like I said, you literally have a better chance of getting hit by a bus walking down the street than you do of dying from West Nile virus. I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. Think about that as you enjoy yourselves. Back to you, Darren.
All right, thanks, Jakari. Now, I want to show you a billboard because I think some of you are going to get a kick out of this. I know I most certainly did. This was created by Oath Keepers in response to an article by a Leavenworth instructor which paints the Tea Party movement as a future military opponent of the U.S. military. I mean, this billboard will appear right outside the main gate of Fort Leavenworth, where Colonel Redcoat Benson will undoubtedly get an up-close and personal look at the message every day as he drives into work. Isn't that nice? And we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, Alex Jones is going to talk to Stuart Rhodes about that billboard and also talk about the latest on the Brandon Robb story. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with Alex Jones and Stuart Rhodes right after this.
I really enjoy it when the globalists try to poison us, and, well, we resist them via a free market system. Hello, my fellow Info Warriors. Alex Jones here, introducing you to the ProPure family of gravity-fed filters. Now, you know that the globalists are filling our water with radioactive isotopes, fluoride, lead, mercury, arsenic. And one of the few systems that can efficiently and economically remove or reduce down to non-detectable levels these poisons are gravity-fed filters. And ProPure is the top of the line. Their filters are impregnated with silver, a natural antibiotic. On top of that, they're bigger, so they filter faster. You don't have to prime these the first time you use them. It's amazing. Go to INFOWARS.com and click on the shopping cart link to see the entire family of these babies. Now, the fluoride they add to our water is so tiny that most filters can't cut it out. But ProPure has their system that will, again, reduce it to non-detectable levels, almost get all of it out of there. That's also available. And if you look at the different systems they offer, the ProPure Big Brush Finish is on a stand, so it's easier on a table or at your restaurant or wherever you have it to go up with a glass or a mug and fill it up. Then there's this big baby right here, the ProPure King large version. Got a lot of different options that come with it. Also, they have the ProPure Big, probably one of the best values out there. And of course, it's burnished stainless steel. And then what I use on my RV, something that's great for your hunting cabin or